let's break down the trailer, and then I'll talk about a little bit of information that I think is going to come as well, and some more details too. So let's jump into the trailer right now. So you can see it starts us off on this crazy looking supercar race. So we've got the T20, we've got that was like the Nero Custom, and look at that spire that we have to go up apparently. That looks really cool, so I'm definitely excited about this. I also saw the Tempesta, and I believe the Italy GTD. So it starts us off on a supercar race. It tells us with a twist. We instantly go to a rocket voltage shot transporting into a plane. So it looks like we're going to be using special vehicles in this sort of race style as well. I wasn't sure how Rockstar was going to handle this because the Rocket Voltic, the Ruiner 2000, the Blazer Aqua, they already have their own races, so I wasn't too sure if Rockstar was going to mix and match, but definitely looks like you're going to be able to use the Rocket Voltic, transforming into an older plane, the Vezra, which I think is kind of cool as well. So we're going to be using old vehicles and new vehicles too, and you can see their objective is to go into this biker checkpoint, kind of do that little thing. There's the Transform Racing logo. We move straight into a Havoc helicopter. Look at the scenery behind it. That looks pretty cool what Rockstar has created. So the brand new Havoc is going to be making an appearance in here as well. From Havoc helicopter, we go to Sea Shark jet ski. So again, we're using old vehicles, we're using new vehicles, we're using bikes as well as this shot right here with the Jotaros that are driving down this tube. And once again, there's going to be some tricky things that you need to look out for. And scenery will likely find kill you as scenery here. I don't know how many of those guys ran into that, but that's pretty interesting. So we go from bike to plane once again. So this is the Valor stunt plane, and that also gives you kind of an idea of how the transformation takes place. You go into like this misty cloud for about 2 or 3 seconds, and that's pretty interesting as well. You kind of need to be careful with this, and as you'll see a little bit later in the video, when I was able to play the transform races for like a day or two, that will actually throw you off. That misty smoke that gets thrown in the air, so you can be careful about that as well. You can see this is another plane course right here. Our Molotovs are diving straight down, which is cool, so we can new planes to be able to use. From plane to boat, we go to Sea Shark again. That seems to be the prominent water vehicle. I don't think we saw any others, so that'll be interesting to see if others actually come into the game. Now, this is probably the most interesting part right here. This is what I believe the warp is. So when you see this little spiky ball, that's going to be a warp. So this one is in the middle of the open, it's in the air, so you can technically fly through it. But this one you can see is at the end of a tunnel right here, meaning there's nowhere else to go. And you can kind of see the cars teleporting away right before Rockstar kind of transitions to another shot right here. So we jump out of that and we move into the hang glider, which is pretty awesome. I love the fact that this little vehicle is going to be included in this game mode as well. Looks like we're going to be getting bikes as well. That is awesome. I did not think we were going to be getting BMX bikes and the racing bikes, but that's pretty cool. And you can see it transport you straight from a bike to a supercar. So I absolutely love the transition there. I think that was pretty cool. Once again, we can see a bunch of FMJs. It looks like everyone got transformed and transported to an FMJ right there, which is pretty awesome. And then it takes us to the title screen. Transform Race is coming on October 17th. So that is going to be pretty exciting, and now we need to talk about a couple other things about this update, some things you might not have known. Number one, this is not going to be a downloadable DLC. This is something that Rockstar is going to add into the game via tunables, just like they do all the other previous vehicles and adversary modes that they introduce in the game. This is not going to be an update that requires a new DLC. FunMW2 confirms, he says, same thing applies to Transform Races. Some people think it would require additional download when it's already in the game, part of the drip feed. So because of that, it's likely going to be coming out around the same time Tuesday morning as our other traditional vehicles, so about 4:30 to 5 a.m. East Coast time on the United States. So that's pretty cool. Now, speaking of that tunables period, I'm not sure what Rockstar is going to do as far as the rest of the tunables content. I'm unaware if they're going to skip a week. So I've heard some people talking about that Rockstar could not release a vehicle, so they could skip the Cyclone or they could skip the Sea Breeze because they want people to focus on the new Transform Races. Now, if that's the case, then everything essentially gets pushed back 1 week, where likely next week we'll see the Cyclone, and the week after that we'll see the Vigilante and the Halloween stuff. But I honestly can't see Rockstar doing that. I think that they'll give us the Cyclone, give us other bonuses and discounts. They'll do a normal event week like we've seen every other week, but they'll also introduce the Transform races as well, and they'll feature those. Because I would be stunned if the only thing that Rockstar did was just add the Transform races into the game and nothing else. So that would kind of be a bare bones sort of update. So I do think we're still going to get a vehicle, likely the Coil Cyclone, and a traditional and typical event week as well. Now, I didn't see any new vehicles like the Coil Cyclone in the trailer itself. I probably imagine Rockstar wouldn't want to give that away, so it's not a total shock that we didn't see it there, but still pretty interesting that no new vehicle like the Coil Cyclone was featured in the Transform races. Now, something else you need to know, and as you can probably tell by the footage you're watching on the screen right now, you actually can use custom variants of vehicles. So I didn't see any inside of the trailer, but that's because Rockstar gives us the option, just like in normal races, to turn off custom races or turn off custom variants of vehicles that you can get when you go over the checkpoints. So for example, let's say you go over a supercar checkpoint and that supercar is the Zentorno. If you have a custom variant of that in your garage, it will spawn you the custom variant. But let's say you go over a muscle car checkpoint and it gives you the Sabre Turbo. Well, let's say you don't have the Sabre Turbo. Well, it's going to give you the stock variant. Thus, if someone does have a custom version of it, they're going to have a clear advantage. So because of that, Rockstar is giving you the opportunity to completely turn off custom vehicles in these races, making it more fair for all of those that are likely involved. So that's pretty cool that you can use custom vehicles, but you can turn them off if you want everyone to be on an equal and level playing field. So I'm definitely interested to see how using customs works versus not, and how that will impact the races. Also, as I mentioned earlier, the transformation process is a little weird. So when you transform, your car or your new vehicle is surrounded in sort of a ball of smoke for a couple seconds. Now, during that period, you actually gain, I shouldn't say invincibility, but you can't be hit by other players. It's kind of like as if you went into passive mode or non-contact mode. I'm not sure why Rockstar did that. Maybe to give you a little bit of grace period to figure out what sort of vehicle you're in, or to figure out the transformation so that you're not bombarded by other players. But for those first 2 to 3 seconds after a transformation, you are invisible, like you're playing a non-contact race, which is very, very interesting. Now, a couple of other things you may not have known about the Transform races. Number one, they're going to include a lot of different types of vehicles that have a ton of options. So take a look at this right here. These are settings for a bunch of different vehicles, like for example, the Oppressor. Will it transform with its wings extended or not? The Blazer Aqua, will it extend with its wheels lowered for driving on land or raised for driving through water? Aircraft that have the VTOL option, will they be in vertical or horizontal flight mode? The Ruiner 2000, will it transform with its parachute deployed or not? And then other vehicles like planes, will they transform with the landing gear raised or lowered? So there's a lot of different variables that are going to go into how your vehicles, I guess, transform when you get them into the game. Now, these are just some of the vehicles that they've added variants for, so we will definitely be seeing them in the races, or at least in the custom version of the races, you'll be able to see them. So it's Rocket Voltic, Ruiner 2000, Ramp Buggy, Phantom Wedge, Armored Boxville, Wastelander, Technical Aqua, Blazer Aqua, APC, Half Track, Dune FAV, Oppressor, Weaponized Tampa, Ardent, Night Shark, and Vigilante. That last one's interesting too because the Vigilante is not out. So when the Vigilante is released, it looks like it will be able to be added into the game as a part of the Transform races. And speaking of those vehicles right there, even though Rockstar didn't show off any of them in the trailer, you can use pretty much any vehicle in the game, whether it's an ambulance or whether it's a big truck or whether it's a police cruiser. There's a lot of awesome options. All right, so let me give you my final verdict on the Transform races on what I'm thinking. I'm pretty excited for this, but I also think it's going to be just like Cunning Stunt Special Vehicle Circuit, where because Rockstar are delaying the content creator, likely for a couple weeks, maybe a month or so, I'm going to play however many Transform races Rockstar adds. I'm going to play them once, and then that's likely it. So there isn't really anything that makes me want to go back and do them over and over again. They'll be fun the first time around, don't get me wrong, but then that's it. I'll likely never play them again until there's some cool custom created ones done by the community. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments section down below. Are you excited for Transform races? Are you kind of excited?